and welcome to the 11:35 live chat with Luminess Air. We're so glad that you are here, and thank you for waiting on us. We had a little fun setting up, so it was just a few more seconds that we needed to get started. But this one's going to be a great one, guys, because on the Heather's Pick that I do every single week, you're going to get a view of something that hasn't even launched yet. It launches tomorrow, so you get to see it before anybody else does and wait for it, okay? So it's gonna be amazing. All right, so if you haven't been to our live chats before, what we do, and actually I would love to hear if this is your first live chat. Let me know where you're watching, and then also if it's your first time. I just love to hear the new people that are on. I also like to know the people that have been on, like Susan, both Susans. They watch every single week, and we're so glad that you continually join us, and I hope that you learn something new every single week. I try to change it up a lot because I don't want it to be the same thing over and over, because you'd be like, this is not fun. So I try to make it fun and try to make it where you will learn something. But every week we do a drawing, and we give away a $100 gift card and 3 $25 gift cards. So the way you enter, if you're on Facebook, is just share the video, and that'll automatically enter you into the drawing. And then if you're on our website, just enter your information below, and that will automatically, or that will enter you in the drawing as well. Now, throughout the week, if you have questions or want to show me photos of you doing your makeup, like, hey Heather, this is the first time I did my makeup, how does it look? Send me an email. You can email me at heatherlive@luminousair.com, and I just love hearing from you guys. So anything and everything, any questions that you have about airbrushing, I would love to hear from you. Now, we know that the Luminous Beauties are talking to each other about airbrushing, so we've set up a referral program for you guys, and what that does, it allows your friends that you're referring to get 25% off, and then we're going to give you a $50 credit if they spend $50 or more. So that's pretty amazing, because your friends are going to benefit, you're going to benefit, everybody benefits, and so your friends will be looking just as flawless as you are as well. Okay, so, and then you can have like an airbrush party, right, Erises? I hope we have some Erises that are watching. Hello, everybody. But yeah, it's really fun if you can get together and start airbrushing, because you really learn. You know, how I learned was just kind of, I mean, you have to get it in your hand. You have to pick it up. Number one, you have to get it out of the box. We have some people that buy the system and then it just sits in the box. The first step is get it out of the box, okay? So if yours is still in the box, go ahead and get it out. Play with it. Just put it in your hand. Let the air, you can just feel the air. Actually, I'll do it right now. Where you can just feel the air. See, wherever you feel the air is where the makeup is going to go. And so that really does help you. And then you can also hear it when the product is being let out, because you're in control. As soon as you turn it on, there is air, but the product is not being released until you pull all the way back with this guy here, okay? So you're in total control over what's being let out by this guy here. Now, we're gonna go over real quick the starter kit. Did I forget anything? I did the the drawing, and then the email me and the referral. I think we're good. Okay, let's get started, because I really want to show you what the Heather's Pick is, because I'm so excited about that. Now, in your starter kit, when you get your starter kit, it's going to come with 4 bottles of foundation. It's also going to come with a moisturizer primer, the bronzer, the glow, and your blush. Now, we'll go over every single item so you'll know exactly what they will do. But guys, I'm going to show you how to put it on. But if you find, when you're practicing and when you're doing this stuff, or let's say you do have friends over and y'all are practicing on each other, if you find ways that work better for you, then do it that way. There's not a 10 commandments of airbrushing. If you can do it the way, if a way works better than I'm showing you, then do it. As long as you're getting the same look, then do it. Oh, I know what I forgot. Chat with me. I do want to hear from you guys. This is a live chat. So again, you will be able to change it to however, if you want to see something else, or, hey Heather, what happens when I do this? Ask me questions, because I have a little monitor right here, and I can see we have, I'm going to misspell her name. Lauren, how do you say her name? Araceli from Chicago. I love that name though. Araceli from Chicago is here for the first time. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Email me and let me know if I said your name correctly. But I'm so glad that you're here. Now, let me ask you, Araceli, have you opened up your system? Have you used your system? Do you have a system yet? Because we do have a lot of people that are just interested in getting a system, and they're watching to see if they can do it. And I love that, because hopefully I'm showing you how easy it is. But I want to get started. Now, I always start with makeup on, because I want to show you that how easy it is that I can talk and do this at the same time. Plus, I don't want to scare anybody. But, okay, so now let's get into Heather's pick, because I'm so excited about this. So Stephanie's thinking about getting one. Stephanie, you will love it. Anybody who gets one, you know, people watch it and they see our infomercial and they're like, oh my gosh, I want to look like that. And honest to goodness, guys, it is easy. If you can do it for 7 days in a row, you're going to be the perfect airbrusher. You just have to get it in your hands and practice. You've been doing traditional makeup your whole entire life, well, maybe not your whole entire life, but for several years. And so it is a different way of doing makeup. However, the movements that I'll be making, and you'll see, are the same movements I would make if I was doing it with a regular brush, except I'm not touching my skin. So if you're a more mature woman, if you have acne-prone skin, if you have sensitive skin, it's not going to irritate your skin, because we know we don't clean our brushes every single day. So you're not going to have that buildup on the brush, that bacteria is going to get on your face and all that fun stuff. So it really will just be amazing for you guys, okay? So let's get started. I'm going to start taking my makeup off. But first, I'm going to show you the Heather's pick. La, 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 la. These are our, what do we call it? Eraser cloths. Now, they're the 2.0 version of makeup wipes, and I'll tell you why. You know how our lip stains stay on forever in 5 days? And you hate seeing it, like I have a lip stain on right now. When I drink my coffee, it doesn't come off. Like, there's no lip stain. Because don't you hate when you're like either at a party or drinking coffee and you always have that lipstick line? I cannot stand that. These, oh my gosh, I love these. Okay, so you open them up. First, I love the packaging. It's amazing. And it has, if you've had our wipes before, you're gonna just love the opening for this one, because this one is so much easier to open. And then I'm gonna move the little thing here, and then look at this. Ooh, they're black. Okay, and I love that, because you're not gonna see the makeup all over there. You know when you throw your wipe in the trash can and you're like, that looks disgusting because it has makeup all over it. You're not gonna see that with this. And you will be able to tell that you get the makeup off. Now, they're not going to be as damp as a regular makeup wipe, because this is a cloth. This isn't that flimsy wipe material. This is cloth, okay? So it's like wiping your face with a wash rag. But you don't have to wipe it hard, because again, we always talk about not having to touch your face and have that constant pull on your face. This has some oil in it, some emollients, which will help take off the makeup very easily. At night, when I'm starting to take off my makeup, I'll grab one. It takes off mascara, it takes off everything, and it takes off our lip stain, which that in itself is amazing. But when you're wiping it, and I'm gonna take off my lip stain, look at that. If anyone has our lip stain, you know that in itself is worth it, because it's good that our lip stains last for so long, but sometimes you have to wear them for 2 days. So this wipe will take off everything, and I just wipe it all over my face. I'm gonna get it up here on my forehead, and now I'm gonna do my eyeshadow, and I'm gonna watch this. Just one swipe. Bam. You see that? These are amazing. It's unlike any wipe that you have. Now, I know some people are thinking that, oh, I need to see if I'm taking off makeup. Girl, you do not need to see if you're taking off makeup. One, you don't want to see that trash in the trash can, and you can look in the mirror and see that your makeup's off, right? But it really does just take it off so easy, and you don't have to have that pull, and it feels so good on your skin. And again, took off the lip stain in like 5 seconds. All right, so again, the eraser wipes. Now, I told you that. You are seeing these before anybody else, so you actually can't purchase these until tomorrow. So don't go on site right now. You will be able to purchase them tomorrow. But I love it because it really does, it's a cloth. So it's softer on your skin. It has emollients in it, so it feels really good. It's not drying, it's not stingy or anything like that. Now, because I just wiped, I'm just gonna blot me real quick. Not that I need to. Okay, there, that's good enough. All right, so now let's get started. I'm going to do, I know I'm gonna have a lot of questions about that, so come on. All right, so now I'm gonna do the moisturizer primer. This is the first thing you're gonna put on, and you do about 3 to 5 drops. Now this is colorless, and it'll just go all over your face. So it's a great one to practice with because you could just get it all over. So turn on my system, there's air that comes out, and then I'm gonna keep it about 4 finger lengths away. I'm gonna keep moving, and I'm barely gonna pull back on this trigger. Now I'm just gonna get that everywhere. Get on my forehead. And there's really no rhyme or reason. I mean, you just get it all over. And make sure you go down your neck. I probably just put too many drops. But I want to show you real quick. I'm going to go down my neck real quick, too. When you're doing it, this is the biggest thing. And when I'm teaching people how to airbrush, this is the biggest thing. You don't want to pull all the way back on that trigger. Can you see that? You don't want to pull all the way back. And when you're pulling all the way back, the only time I do that is when I'm cleaning it, when I'm letting it all go. So what you really, really, really want to concentrate is just barely pulling it back. And you can hear the sound too. If you just close your eyes, you can hear the sound. It's a little like wet sounding. And then that way you know, and you can feel a little bit of cool on your skin along with that air. All right, now I wanted also, they just informed me too, that the wipe is also, it has rose water, cucumber, vitamin E, but it soothes the skin, so it's not gonna leave, you know how some wipes will leave your skin looking red and irritated? Because my skin is super sensitive, and usually as soon as I'm like, if I look at a wipe, my skin's gonna be red. And these, obviously you saw, it doesn't, again, you're not pulling on your skin and not having to irritate it just by what's in a wipe. Ours are gonna be very soothing, very just amazing for your skin. So they're not gonna have any irritation. I have a great team in the back helping me along. All right, so now, after the moisturizer primer, I do want to say, now that it's summer, some people feel like they need maybe a heavier moisturizer, or if you have our SPF 30, it's also a sunscreen and moisturizer primer. So if you have our SPF 30, you do not have to do this. The SPF 30, you put it on by yourself, well, obviously by yourself, but with your hands. You don't blow it through the airbrush. You can skip this step. I'm all about making the, like, looking flawless, but still looking good. Because sometimes we don't have time to spend 30, even 45 minutes doing our makeup. I mean, special occasions, of course, we'll spend the extra time. But when you're having to cook breakfast, make coffee, run, make lunches, do all that, you don't have time for all that. So we want to cut those time. It really will, just airbrushing itself does cut your time in half on how to get it ready because you're doing so much with this guy here. It's replacing so much of your brushes, okay? Do you feel, Samantha said, do you feel the makeup hitting your skin? Great question, Samantha. I'm gonna start with the foundations. I'm gonna answer that in just a second. When you are matching your foundations, what I end up doing is I shake them up, I match them to my chest because my face is always white because I always put sunscreen on, and then when I lay out in the summer, I usually get darker. So I know I'm between a 2 and a 3. Later on in the summer, I'll be probably just a 3, and now I'm probably more 3 than 2, but I'm gonna mix them together. And so I'm gonna put a couple of drops in here. And you can kind of change, like when you first start out, I can do my entire face with 6 to 8 drops, and that's full coverage. When you first start out, you might use 10, 12, 15 drops, and that's perfectly okay because you're still learning, okay? Don't think, oh my gosh, I can't do it, I'm using 15 drops. It's okay. Once you start practicing, once you continually do it, then you'll use less and less drops. You'll figure it out. There is a there's a sweet spot on how far to pull back on this trigger. Now I'm gonna show you, I put both colors in here, and I'm gonna put my finger on the tip of the airbrush, and then I'm barely pulling back on the trigger. Can you see that? and it mixes everything in here for you. So you don't have to get on the counter. You don't have to start with one shade and then do another shade. You can do it all together. Now, the other great thing about it, if I start putting makeup on and I look in the mirror and I'm like, okay, maybe I went too dark or too light, I can go ahead and add the lighter or darker shade and continue. So there's no messing up. I mean, it really is forgiving, but you don't have, because we're not covering every inch of our face, you could go in and just start with the correct color, all right? Now, Samantha, regarding, do you feel the makeup going on your skin? If you take the stylus and just hold it to your face, you feel the air. It's nice and cool. When you're airbrushing, you feel it, it's like a little colder, and you might feel a little wetness on your skin. If you see this, then you're spraying way too much. You do not want to see that, and I'm gonna blot that off before it dries. And you have to sing while you're airbrushing, just kidding. For some reason I always sing. All right, so you don't want to see that, because it is a different mindset as far as with traditional makeup. We're used to seeing that instant smear of makeup, that instant opaqueness of makeup, and we're smearing it all around. With airbrush makeup, it's magic, okay? It really is. That first pass that you make, you might not see anything. You might go, is it going on? I'm unsure. Keep going, and that second and third pass, you're like, okay, here we go. I'm looking good. So it really is very, very light. Now, I probably put 8 or 9 drops in here, and I want you to see how far I can, or how long I can airbrush. So if you are putting that same amount of drops and you're going out quickly, then you know that you're pulling back on the trigger too much, okay? Now, also with airbrush makeup, I do have a little rosacea, because I told you I have sensitive skin. I have a little rosacea around my nose and right here. And so I'm going to go in and cover that first, and then keep going. Okay, Mavis, can you use other makeup in the airbrush? Love that question, because we get that all the time. No. For 2 reasons. One, our airbrush makeup is made specifically for our stylus. If you put regular makeup in here, number one, not going to come out. This has a very fine, and I'll take it apart in a minute. It has a fine needle in here, so it's only allowing airbrush makeup out of the stylus. Plus the fact, if you do put regular foundation in there, it's going to void your warranty, and you don't want to do that, because we do have, it comes with a 1-year warranty, and so you don't want to void that by any means, okay? Now notice that I'm keeping my eyes open. I hope that answers your question, Mavis. I'm keeping my eyes open, and another question I get all the time is it going to go in my eye? No, it's only going where you point it. So wherever you feel that air is where the makeup's going to go. Now, if you point it in your eye, it'll do that, but your eye will do this. Okay? So you don't want to do that. And if I'm doing it right under here, I can point it down a little bit. Can you see that? And then I can keep going. So when you're airbrushing, you want it 4 finger lengths away. You want to keep moving. And what else? Barely pull back on the trigger. Tanya, how do you figure out your shade? So when you're shaking your bottles up, if you got the 4 or 2 bottles, shake them up. You're going to hold them to your chest. That's where I match. There'll be 2 that are the closest to you. Those 2, take them out, put a drop on your finger, and rub them on your chest. Whichever one you cannot see is your shade. So whichever one blends in will be your shade. Now, we all change colors throughout the year, so that's what you'll want to keep the rest of the bottles, because if you need to change that shade, we give you everything you need to match you 365 days a year. So whether you've been in the sun, out of the sun, it doesn't matter. You're going to have all the colors that you need. Plus the fact when all your friends and family find out, when your mom or your sisters or your neighbors find out that you have an airbrush, they're coming over to get airbrushed. So, which is great, because you will learn a lot when you're doing somebody else, because you can really see it go on. You can make mistakes with it. You can just practice, and that will help you as well. So just, again, I can't say this enough, practice as much as possible. Now, I think my coverage is pretty darn good right now, and I do like a lot of coverage. But again, I only put 8 or 9 drops, and I still have makeup in here. So that should show you how lightly I'm spraying. So I think it was, who was it that asked that? It's a little, you can feel it a little wetness on your skin, but it should never feel like damp, or you should never see it dripping down. It should just be like a nice little kiss of air and just a little bit of wetness, okay? Now, I'm not gonna do any more. I can go down my neck. All right, so now I'm gonna spray the rest of that out, which I was almost done. All right, now I'm gonna take the number 5 and do a little bit of contouring. And I'm gonna do about 3 or 4 drops, which I probably won't need that many. And then when you're doing contour, you can either do this before foundation or after foundation. When you're first starting out, you can do it before your foundation, because when you put on the foundation, it'll help blend it. But again, I can feel where it's going. So, and also because I'm concentrating on certain areas, I bring it in a little closer, okay? And people are like, does it get in my hair? Oh my gosh. Okay, I just got it in my hair on purpose. And this is what you do. Done. It doesn't matter. Guys, this is not permanent makeup. You wipe it off. If it doesn't work, you wipe it off, okay? So makeup should be fun. You should be having fun. Number 1, it feels so good on your skin. It feels nice and cool. And usually, you know, bathrooms are always so hot. It's always nice to have that nice little breeze. Most of the time, I just sit there and use the breeze. All right, so now, I'm gonna blow the rest of this out. And now I'm gonna use, let's do blush. And I'm using Tulip. Now with the blush, you're only going to do 2 drops, right? Right, everyone who's seen these? 2 drops. Because if you use more, then you're going to look a little cray-cray, and we don't want that. Our blush is super high pigmented, meaning it does intensify later. So when you put on blush normally, you see it instantly, okay? I know what's going on because I'm pointing at my cheek, I'm barely pulling back on this trigger, but that same movement I would make with this brush is the same movement I'm making with my stylus. See there? Now notice I'm going back and forth. I'm not staying too long. Because we are concentrating in one area, I'm letting each side have time to dry. All right? Now, if you're a blushaholic and you love blush, perfectly fine, but just add 1 more drop. But you do want to let it sit and dry first before adding too much. Now, let's say you didn't listen to a word I said and you put 5 drops of blush in and you look crazy. No worries. All you have to do is airbrush your foundation on over it and it'll blend it out for you, okay? And even if, like, after we finish our eyes and everything, and I look in the mirror and I'm like, maybe I need a little more blush, or maybe I got too much on this side and I need to even it out, I can go back and do that. That's not a problem. All right, so now let's go with the glow. Now our glow is our highlighter. And we have another great highlighter called Love. It's more of a flesh color. Make sure I'm getting that color. It's more fleshy color than as light as this, but I really like Glow because we're gonna put it on places that we want to stand out. So I'm gonna do it as my brow highlighter. Go down my nose. And notice that it doesn't get on my brows at all, even though somebody pointed out that my eyebrows are uneven today. Don't you love that when somebody's like, oh, do you not feel well? No, I feel fine, thanks. But now I don't. All right, so we go down here, go here, do a little cheek highlighter. You can even do it right at your Cupid's bow. Now you don't want to do too much because you don't want to look like a disco ball. Now in between, if you notice, I'm not cleaning it. All I'm doing is pulling all the way back to the trigger and making sure it's empty, and then I can move to the next one. At the very end, we will clean it, and you can clean it with water, or you can clean it with this tip-top cleaner, but warm water or any water will just work perfectly. All right, so now we have the bronze shimmer. I love this too. This is great in the summer just because you can use it on your décolleté, you can use it on your shoulders if you're at a pool party or anything like that. I can even go over it. You can mix it with your blush. All of our products marry together, so you really can mix it together. And I'm just gonna do a little bit. I'm not gonna do a lot because I'm gonna do other eyeshadow. So just play with that. Again, you don't want to look like a disco ball or too shiny like you're sweating. So use it in moderation and only in specific areas. Now, if you're a shade, let's say 6 or darker, you can mix a drop or two in your foundation and it looks amazing. And if you're 1 to 5, you can mix the glow or the love and do the same thing. All right, so now, I'm like getting a question. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do the eyes real quick. Make sure that's the color I'm getting. And this is eyeshadow 10. What lip stain am I going to use? And it's going to be Midtown. Now, if anyone's been to our sites, you know that it's hard to keep these in stock because they go so quickly because they're amazing. If you ever had them, Lisa, you know that they do stay on, but they don't make your lips feel dry and cracky like they're chapped or whatever. It goes on very smooth, and I'm gonna show you tips on how to put them together or how to put it on. All right, so this shade 10 eyeshadow I'm gonna do on my lid, and if you've watched the live chats before, you know that I do the bronzer metallic on my lid as well. It's beautiful eyeshadow color, and it's beautiful on anybody. Because the other thing, like if you're the lightest color or the darkest color, you can pretty much use all the shades, all the colored shades, because if you're like the lightest color and you want to use this bronzer, maybe you just do 1 or 2 passes, just a little bit. And if you're the darker color and you need the colors to pop more, you can do more passes because it can intensify. So that's the other great thing about Airbrush. Like when I'm doing my eyes, all I have to do is keep going back and forth. And again, guys, look, that same movement, if I was putting on eyeshadow with a regular brush, is the same movement I'm doing with my eyeshadow. Now I am bringing the stylus in a little bit closer, and I am going back and forth to give each side time to dry. All right, I think that's good. I'm gonna blow the rest of that out. But it's I don't know if you can see it. Can you see? All right, so now I'm gonna use, it's kind of a purpley color, shade 17. Now, if you're first starting out, and because this shade 17, this purple one, I'm gonna do in my crease. And if you're already saying, Heather, there's no way I can do that. Again, if you just keep practicing, you will be able to do it. But try the glow first, then try your lid. Those are ones that you don't have to be so precise. You can keep going because you're also going to put mascara on afterwards. So if it gets on your eyelashes, you're perfectly fine. So just practice with that and then work up to your crease. Now when I'm doing my crease and I'm doing that little V in the corner, again, come in closer. And the same movement I would make blending this out is the same movement I'm making with my stylus. And then let's say, good, I messed up right here. Okay, let's say I sprayed too much and that doesn't look right. And you're like, oh my gosh, I was almost done and now I can't do it. All you do is take a brush and blend it. No mistakes. That's what I'm saying. That's why, that's why it's another reason why it's cut your getting ready in time in half, because like if I'm putting the wrong color on, fix it. If I got like a little blob, pat it out, you're done. You can help blend it because we're not covering every inch of our face. So that really will help your getting ready time and cut that in half. Ooh, I really like this color. That's pretty. I'm dark skinned, Lisa. Okay, I'm dark skinned and I have a lot of marks. I bought the eraser, but I'm not sure if I was supposed to use it with something else. So, Lisa, what shade are you? Let me know what shade. So usually with the eraser, you're gonna put the eraser on first. Let me finish that. Okay, you're gonna put the eraser on first. Now, if you're a darker skin tone, the eraser only comes in one shade, and it's really light. So if you're darker skin tone, I might try the X out and the dark, medium, or dark, depending on your shade. So even the X out is for under eyes, but you can use it all over your face, and because it comes in fair, medium, and dark, that might help you. But since you have eraser, use eraser and a couple of drops of your foundation, hit those marks first, and then blend out the rest. But you want to hit them first, and like I said, the eraser might be too light for you, so just mix your foundation in there, blend it, and then hit them first, and then airbrush it out, okay? So you could cover it about 80%, but like hit it, you know, make sure it's okay, and then go back. You don't want to hit it too hard so it's wet because you're concentrating in just one area. So just bam, 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 blend it out. All right, let me see if I need to. I really like this purple. All right, so if you're interested in knowing that, that was shade 17. All right, so I'm gonna blow the rest of that out. Now at the end, what I would do is either run it through the, like under the faucet or with water. Right now I'm gonna use the Tip Top cleaner. And I'm gonna let that bubble, and then I'm just gonna spray it out. And I do it a couple of times just to make sure it's completely clean, because you don't want makeup to stay in here and clog that needle. Without this guy, you want to take care. Without this guy, you don't have any way to put it on. So make sure you do clean this out. It could be just water or Tip Top maybe every 3 days, okay? I think I had a question. How do you do an older eye where the eye is more hooded? So Trisha, mine is a little hooded as well. If you're doing it, you could lift up, just use your finger lightly, lift up, and then do it that way. And then when it falls, you just want to stick it like right here, depending on how hooded. But you can lift it up, airbrush it in, and then let it set. Do you recommend using a primer first? The primer, can I use the eraser as a primer? The eraser is just for covering up. Now, this moisturizer primer is our primer, so you don't have to use a secondary primer at all. So, so Rita, no, you don't have to use another primer. This can even go on your eyes, but with the airbrush makeup and how it goes on, you don't, I mean, it's gonna stay, so you don't have to worry about that. Again, we're about cutting steps, and how the airbrush goes on. It lasts 17 to 18 hours, is non-transferable, and won't clog your pores, and doesn't look heavy or cakey. I always say, if you like light coverage or drag queen coverage, it should look natural. So we want to cut those steps out. So if you have eraser and you're covering spots and you don't feel like you need the primer, then don't use it. Just try, Alejandra, try different things, okay? Now I'm gonna use the Midtown and put my lips back on. Now when you're doing the stains, sometimes I line them. I'm just that kind of girl. I like my lips lined. But you're gonna do that. You can rub it in at first, and then I turn it upside down like this way to get that line. But with the stains, you want to act pretty quickly. We all understand lipstick talk. Correct whatever you need to immediately, because once it dries, once it dries, it dries. Okay? So now that it's on, I'm gonna leave Alicia heart her just a few minutes, and on top like this, I'm just gonna let it dry for a second. Then, once it completely dries, lick them, and then you're done. Don't rub them together like we do if we had lipstick. Don't do that, because that will break up the seal. So keep them apart, let them dry for a few seconds. You can even use your airbrush to let them dry. Lick your lips, and then you're done, okay? All right, we're out of time. I hope you had fun. I hope you learned something. I hope you're excited of these eraser cloths as I am. I love these. So you make sure to get those tomorrow. And then the promo code for today is Heather A17. And starting today, you can use that for 25% off your most expensive item in your cart, and that's good for a week. And so you definitely want to utilize that, because we have a lot of sales going on too, and it's even good for that, but it'll be on the most expensive item in your cart. So All right, don't forget to share the video if you're on Facebook. Enter your information below if you're on our website. Don't forget about our referral program. Don't forget to email me. And we'll see you back next week. Bye, guys. Thanks so much.